Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk to you guys about the demotivation which stems from losing, the lack of inspiration which may be caused when you lose. And so for a little bit of context, starting with a personal story, I just got my calculus mark back. And it wasn't the best, I'll be honest. It was honestly very surprising. And personally, I put in a lot of effort. I put in a lot of time studying for that examination. I spent, I would say, at least 30 hours studying for that examination. I did every question. I went over the book. I went over videos. I did everything which I perceived that I could do for that exam. And I still did really bad. And so now I was feeling down about that for a while, which is a natural human emotion and human tendency. But then I began to look around and I saw other people that also put in a lot of work. People that might have actually put in more work than me. People that genuinely studied. And these people, they were in despair. They were in defeat. And don't get me wrong, I was also in despair, but not to this extent. And that's when I realized sometimes in life, you can work as hard as you can. You can work so hard. You can work with so much effort, dedication, passion, enthusiasm. But sometimes that just won't be enough. Sometimes it won't be your night. Sometimes it won't be your decision. Sometimes you just come up short, and that is life. But the truth is, even when you come up short and you feel like you could have done everything you could have, you feel like you outworked the person that did better than you, but it's like, hey, I worked harder than this person, but they still did better than me. That's a natural human emotion. But you should not think that way. You should not let that beat you down. For instance, I was beaten up for a while over calculus. Like I did, I'm telling you, I did pretty bad on that examination. So now I can say to myself, like, okay, what's the point in studying? Why bother studying for the next one? Why bother even trying? If I tried for this one and I did bad, I'm bound to do bad on the next one as well. And so I could perceive and I can pursue this ideology. I can pursue this belief, and it's a completely normal and fair belief. It's a belief shared by many individuals in the world. It's a belief I've shared in the past. It's a belief you've shared in the past. And it's a belief that we are likely going to share in the future. That is how the human mind works. But that being said, that is not a belief we should share. That is a belief we should avoid because that's just how life works. Sometimes in life, you can put in all the right work, you can put in all the right steps, and you still won't win. That is part of life. But just because you don't win, that doesn't mean you give up. That doesn't mean you decide, like, oh, just because I didn't win this time, that doesn't mean I can't win next time. That doesn't mean I can't win again. Who said that? Who defined that? Who decided that idea? No one decided that except for yourself. Even if you lose, even if you lose while putting in all that work, that doesn't mean you can't win the next one. There is no guarantee and there's no certainty that you will come up short again. It all comes down to belief. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys. Even if you put in all the work and you feel like you got a result which does not reflect your efforts and does not reflect your actions, do not let it beat you down. Let it motivate you. Let it motivate you. I like to think of an example of a weed in the ground. A weed, some weeds have very strong foundations. They are hard to pull out. Not like dandelions, but they're really tough ones. And so sometimes I like to think of losing in that sense. When we put in that work and we lose, we take the whole root out, the root that we spent so much time digging out. But the thing with losing is when you actually lose, you're merely cutting the weed. You've cut the weed. And so then the weed can regrow. But when you give up, you're pulling that entire weed out and it can never regrow again. So in this context, think of yourself as that weed. Just because you came up short, your foundation is still there and you can continue to improve and build upon it. Thank you guys. I hope this was of benefit.